This video explains how to graph an equation from standard form. So at this point in time, you should already know how to graph an equation from slope-intercept form, or when your equation is in y equals mx plus b form. This video is going to help you graph equations that are not in slope-intercept form, but are in standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. Now, since we already know how to graph an equation that's in slope-intercept form, one strategy to help us graph a standard form equation is to take it and change it into a slope-intercept form equation. So let's look at our example. 2x plus 5y equals 15. This equation is in standard form because the x and the y are both before the equal sign. Now, this strategy is that we are going to take this equation and create a slope-intercept form equation from it. Meaning we are going to take this equation and rearrange it until we get y equals mx plus b. So we're going to get the y all by itself, which means everything else that is not the y, we want to move to the other side of the equation. So we always start by moving the x and whatever number is connected to the x. So we have 2x. They're connected, they move together. And we move it by doing the opposite. So right now it's a positive 2x, and the opposite would be negative 2x. Again, the number and the x move together, and we move it by doing the opposite. So now 2x minus 2x cancels, and all that's left is 5y. And on the other side, 15 minus 2x. Well, we cannot subtract whole numbers and variables, so we need to keep both parts, 15 minus 2x. Now from here, we still do not have slope-intercept form because our y is not by itself. So what we need to do is get rid of this 5. To get rid of a number connected to a variable, we need to divide. So we're going to divide by 5. Now on the other side of our equation, since there are two values, we need to divide both of these values by the number 5. So my 5's cross out, and now my y is by itself. If I look at this first part of my problem, 15 divided by 5, that will give me 3. Bring down my subtraction sign, and then if I look at the second part of the problem, 2 divided by 5. Well, 2 divided by 5 is going to make a decimal. It's going to make 0.4. And we don't want decimals because those are very hard to count when we graph them. So what we are going to do is we are simply going to bring this part of the equation down and leave it in fraction form. 2 over 5x. And now that our y is by itself, we have written this equation in slope-intercept form. So we need to start with the y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is always the number not with the x. Usually it's in the back of the equation, but this time it's in the front, so it's a positive 3. I'm going to go up 3 and plot a point. Now connected to our x is going to be our slope, or our rise over run. It's negative 2/5, so I need to go down 2 and to the right 5 to make my next point. Down 2 and to the right 5. I can now take these points to connect them and make my line.